Welcome to Tina's Narrations. This is a place where I share meaningful stories, real-life experiences, and valuable life lessons with you. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss a story. Sarah moved through the world with a quiet strength that felt like sunlight through linen, soft, steady, and unshakable. Raised in a home where love meant showing up, keeping your word, and holding the people you cared for close. She'd built a life rooted in reliability long before Daniel walked into it. By day she climbed the ranks at a local logistics company, her sharp mind and unwavering work ethic making her the team's most trusted member. By afternoon and weekend she tended to her fabric shop, a cozy haven filled with bolts of silk that shimmered like sunset, cotton soft as a baby's cheek, and lace delicate as a whisper. It was her sanctuary, her pride. The place where she'd forged lifelong bonds with regulars who came not just for cloth, but for her gentle advice and warm smile. This shop, paired with her steady job, gave her complete financial independence. She never needed anyone to carry her. But she'd always dreamed of sharing her life with someone who would walk beside her. Daniel grew up with modest means, scrappy and eager to prove himself, until he landed a high-paying corporate job that painted him as the picture of responsibility. He was charismatic, the kind of man who could light up a room with a single grin. His laughter warm and easy, his words laced with sincerity that made everyone believe he was built for forever. For a loving wife, a house full of children, a life of faithful commitment. No one could have guessed the emptiness that lingered beneath that charming exterior. A void he would soon try to fill with something fleeting and false. Their meeting felt like fate, woven into the chaos of a crowded weekend party. The air hummed with upbeat music and clinking glasses, friends shouting over one another to catch up. When Daniel's gaze cut through the noise and landed on Sarah, she stood in a corner, dressed in a simple cream blouse and a skirt made from her own fabric. Her hair pulled back loosely, no makeup masking her natural beauty. She laughed at a friend's joke, her head tipping back. And Daniel's breath caught in his throat. He'd never seen anyone so effortlessly radiant, so real. He hesitated for a long moment, his palms sweating, before mustering the courage to cross the room. When he spoke, his voice was soft, not the loud charm he used with his buddies. And he listened as she talked about her logistics work, her fabric shop, her little dreams of a family. He didn't interrupt, didn't boast about his job, he just saw her. Sarah's heart fluttered, a quiet, unfamiliar warmth spreading through her chest. For the first time in a long while she felt like someone was truly paying attention. They exchanged numbers as the party wound down, and by the time Daniel walked away, neither knew that this spark would one day burn their perfect life to the ground. Their courtship was a fairy tale woven from small sacred moments. Daniel brought her fresh flowers every Sunday, not grand bouquets, but wild daisies from the field near his apartment, because he remembered she loved simple things. He sat in her fabric shop for hours, watching her fold cloth and help customers, content just to be near her. They stayed up late talking about their dreams, a little house with a garden, 2 kids, Sunday mornings with pancakes and quiet mornings together. Sarah let her guard down, letting herself believe in forever. And when he proposed on a crisp autumn evening, under a tree dotted with falling leaves, she said yes without a second thought. Their wedding was small and heartfelt, surrounded by family and friends. And when they said their vows to love, to cherish, to stay faithful, to show up, Sarah meant every word with every fiber of her being. Not long after, their son Tom was born, with Daniel's bright eyes and Sarah's gentle smile. And 2 years later their daughter Tiara arrived, a tiny feisty girl who wrapped everyone around her finger. Suddenly their little family was complete. The early years of marriage were pure magic. Sarah balanced her 2 careers and motherhood flawlessly, tucking the kids into bed each night before finishing shop orders, her hands tired but her heart full. Daniel came home every evening, tossing his briefcase aside to lift Tom onto his shoulders, to press kisses to Tiara's chubby cheeks, to wrap Sarah in a hug that made all the chaos fade away. He contributed faithfully to the household, covering rent and bills, letting Sarah save her shop and logistics income for the kids' future and family trips. The house was always warm, filled with the kids' laughter, the scent of Sarah's baking, the soft hum of her sewing machine. For the first time in her life Sarah felt home, truly, unconditionally home. She'd breathe in that warmth at night lying next to Daniel, and thank the universe for giving her everything she'd ever wanted. Then everything shattered. It started with a mundane workday. Daniel bored at his desk scrolling mindlessly through Instagram. When he saw Lisa's profile, she was everything Sarah was not: glamorous, polished. Her feed a never-ending reel of designer handbags, 5-star resort vacations, champagne toasts, and dresses that cost more than Sarah's entire monthly shop income. Lisa was unapologetically high maintenance, her captions screaming of luxury and excess. And Daniel was instantly, recklessly infatuated. He'd never felt seen like this, not by Sarah, who loved him for who he was, but by Lisa, who made him feel like he could be someone bigger, richer, more exciting. Lying about his wealth, exaggerating his salary, showering her with flattery that felt empty but addictive. Lisa didn't care about him, she cared about what he could buy her, and Daniel, blinded by a foolish, selfish craving for attention, didn't care. He made a choice that day. A choice that would destroy everything. He would choose Lisa's fake glamour over his wife's quiet love, her empty praise over his children's hugs, her lavish demands over his vows. The shift in Daniel was immediate, and it cut Sarah like a knife. He started coming home late, night after night, his excuses flimsy and forced. Overtime, urgent meetings, a client dinner. At first, Sarah believed him. She'd stay up late, warming his dinner. Tiara curled up on her lap, Tom asking when Daddy would be home to read him a story. She'd take shallow, shaky breaths to push down the tightness in her chest. The quiet voice telling her something was very wrong. Then he stopped contributing to the household. No money for groceries, so Sarah dipped into her shop savings. No money for rent, so she used her logistics paycheck. No money for Tom's school supplies or Tiara's new shoes, so she skipped buying fabric for her shop, letting her beloved business slow to a crawl. When she gently asked him about his salary, her voice soft, not accusatory, just confused, he snapped. He raised his voice, called her nagging, accused her of not trusting him, lied that his company was holding his paycheck. His words were sharp, unrecognizable. And Sarah would stand there, her hands trembling, her breath catching in her throat, tears stinging her eyes but refusing to fall. She was devastated, not just angry but broken. The man she loved, the father of her children, the man who'd vowed to stand by her, was turning into a stranger. She didn't confront him right away. She couldn't. Not when she found his hidden phone, late one night when he'd passed out on the couch. The screen lit up with messages to Lisa. "I bought you that necklace you wanted. I'll take you to Paris next month. My wife doesn't understand me." Not when she found crumpled receipts in his pocket for designer stores and luxury restaurants. Receipts that added up to thousands of dollars, money that should have gone to his kids. Not when Tiara came to her one evening, tiny lip quivering, and asked, "Why doesn't Daddy tuck me in anymore?" Or when Tom stopped talking about his day at school, going quiet every time Daniel's name was mentioned. Sarah's heart shattered into a million pieces. But she didn't scream, didn't yell, didn't break down in front of the kids. She took slow, quiet breaths, one after another, pushing through the gut-wrenching sadness. The betrayal that felt like it was suffocating her. She knew anger wouldn't protect Tom and Tiara. Recklessness wouldn't give them a safe life. So she made a plan, slow and steady, just like she did everything else. For 6 long months Sarah suffered in silence. She woke up every morning with a heavy heart, forcing a smile for the kids. She tended to her shop, went to her job, all while saving every penny she could. She sorted through legal papers, found a small cozy apartment near the kids' school, talked to a lawyer about custody, and slowly, quietly prepared Tom and Tiara for a change, telling them they'd have a new room soon. A new little garden, just the 3 of them. The kids felt the tension in the house. The cold silence that replaced the laughter. The way Daddy never looked at them anymore. Tom would sit by the window for hours, waiting for Daniel to come home and play catch, his little shoulders slumping when he didn't. Tiara would cling to Sarah's leg, scared to let go, as if she knew her family was falling apart. Sarah held them close each night, whispering that she'd always keep them safe, her own tears soaking their hair as she tried to muffle her sobs. She was devastated, yes, but she was also resolute. She would not let her children grow up in a house filled with lies and neglect. She would not stay married to a man who broke every promise he ever made to her. Daniel never noticed. He was too busy pouring every cent of his salary into Lisa, hiding the money in a secret bank account, buying her whatever she wanted, taking her on trips that he told Sarah were work conferences. He grew careless, his lies more obvious, his indifference to his family more cruel. He didn't see Tom's empty eyes, Tiara's quiet fear, Sarah's fading smile. He didn't see the life he was burning to the ground. The day Sarah left was quiet, no fanfare, no screaming match. She woke up early as she always did, and made the kids pancakes just like every Saturday. She packed their favorite toys, their clothes, their blankets, small precious things that felt like home. She folded her own belongings carefully, including a bolt of the fabric she'd planned to use for a family quilt. A project she'd abandoned when Daniel changed. She knelt down in front of Tom and Tiara, holding their small hands. Her voice steady but thick with emotion, telling them they were going to their new home. That it would be just the three of them, and that they would be happy. She kissed their foreheads, her breath shaky, and wiped away their confused tears. Then she left a handwritten letter on the kitchen table, the paper smudged with her silent tears. The letter laid bare every truth. I know about Lisa. I know you've hidden your salary to buy her things, to take her places, while our children went without new shoes, and our house went without groceries. I know you've broken every vow you made to me, every promise to our kids. I've waited months for you to come back to us, to remember the family you had, but you never did. I can't stay here anymore, watching you throw away the life we built for a lie. I'm taking Tom and Tiara, and we're going to build a life without you. You lost us the day you chose her over us. Don't try to find us. When Daniel came home that evening, the house was silent. No sound of the sewing machine, no laughter from the kids, no warm smell of food. He found the letter on the table, and for the first time a flicker of panic crossed his face, but it faded quickly. He thought he was free. He called Lisa immediately, told her she could move in, and she agreed instantly, eager for a free place to live and endless spending money. She settled into Sarah's home, rearranging the furniture, throwing away the kids' toys, acting like she owned the place. Still demanding more gifts, more trips, more luxury. Daniel was happy to oblige at first until he checked his bank account. He was broke. Every penny of his savings, every dollar of his salary had gone to Lisa. He had no money for rent, no money for bills. No money to buy her even a cheap necklace. When Lisa found out, her glamorous facade crumbled in an instant. She screamed at him, called him a liar and a loser, packed her bags without a single glance back, and walked out the door, leaving him alone in the cold, empty house. No more flattery, no more smiles, no more fake affection. Just silence. That's when the regret hit him hard, unrelenting, suffocating. He tried to call Sarah over and over, but she blocked his number. He went to her fabric shop, but she wouldn't look at him. Her eyes cold and empty, the warmth he once loved gone forever. He begged, he pleaded, he promised to change. To leave Lisa, to be the husband and father he used to be. But Sarah didn't budge. She filed for divorce, and the court granted her full custody of Tom and Tiara. Daniel had no leg to stand on. The evidence of his affair and neglect was undeniable. The ending wasn't just plain regret, it was a lifetime of haunting, unending agony. Daniel wandered through the empty house every day. The walls bare where Sarah's family photos once hung, the rooms quiet where the kids' laughter once echoed. He'd find Tom's old baseball glove in the corner, Tiara's teddy bear under the couch, and he'd collapse to the floor sobbing, his chest aching with a pain he'd never known. He replayed every moment, the day he met Sarah, their wedding, the birth of his kids, the first time he lied to her, the first time he spent money on Lisa instead of his family. He realized too late that Lisa's glamour was empty, her love fake, while Sarah's quiet, steady love was the most precious thing he'd ever had. He realized that Tom's waiting eyes and Tiara's clingy hugs were worth more than all the designer bags in the world. He'd traded a lifetime of love and happiness for a few months of fake attention, and he had nothing left. Sarah, meanwhile, rebuilt her life slowly, but surely. Her fabric shop flourished again, brighter than ever, filled with the same warmth and love. Tom and Tiara thrived in their new home, laughing again, playing again, no longer walking on eggshells. Sarah found peace in the quiet moments, in her kids' smiles, in the freedom of a life without betrayal. She still took slow breaths when she thought of the life she lost, but the devastation faded, replaced by hope. She was happy, truly happy, without him. Daniel never found that happiness. He lived alone in that empty house, his job suffering from his constant grief, his friends abandoning him for his selfishness. He grew old with nothing but regret, haunted by the ghost of the family he destroyed, the promises he broke, the love he threw away. Every night he'd sit on the couch where Sarah once waited for him. And he'd whisper apologies to the empty rooms, apologies that would never reach her, never fix what he'd broken. This was the cost of broken promises, a love lost forever, a family torn apart, and a man left to suffer the consequences of his own selfish choices. For the rest of his life.